Hello there, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
the Heat Army. Yes, welcome to the Heat Army podcast. Not the podcast where the host fell asleep for a power nap and only woke up 20 minutes before the podcast. Definitely not that podcast. Right, what we want to do is get going on this. We're going to be talking about the weekend's game, of course, against Wealdstone. We're going to put the highlights up very shortly. And also, we're going to be talking to Nathan Salt. Just got his name, I forgot to ask, from the Robin Ryan Red podcast, obviously about Wrexham. So we'll be talking about him and everything that's been going on in and around Wrexham. Of course, it's a fairy tale story for, get owners. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So remember, like, subscribe, message into the show. It's fully interactive, and that's what we want you to do. Right, just before we get into it, I'll quickly play a message from the sponsors. And my camera, for some reason, well, what's it doing? Oh, we've got a Panasonic. Right, so I've got to sort that out.
New camera.
Yeah, everyone knows what camera I'm using now. Right, on that note, we'll definitely play the advert. I'll be back in a second. I'm back, but for how long? I don't know. Right. So
they can say a million things about us, but professionals never one of them.
First time the camera's done that. Right, let's get into it. Saturday, obviously, Wealdstone. We played. To be honest, Mickey, for vast amounts of the game, we bossed it. We were in charge. Final third, we couldn't get into goal scoring opportunity in the first half. There was one or two where we got it into the box, but we've got to be making the keeper work more, Mickey.
Definitely. I'd say we're boss large majority of it, but at the end of the day, if you didn't put the ball in the back of the net, you didn't win games.
Yeah,
and that's what we've got to start doing.
Definitely. Owen Bailey with the early yellow card there, as you can see. Definite yellow card, but the referee got a little bit card happy, didn't he? Later on, and made just a bit of a backside.
I've seen 5 games in this league now, and I haven't seen a decent referee yet.
No, you would have hoped when we got promoted that the standard had improved, but obviously not. But Wealdstone, they went top of the league with this result, and I know we've drew the first 3 games, lost the last 2. We haven't been outclassed by anybody yet, and I'm yet to see someone that scares us.
Until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow, yes. We need not to be as I'm not going to say toothless up front, but because we hit the woodwork a few times on Saturday, as we'll see in the highlights. But hopefully, we can start to put the keepers under more pressure than what we've been doing.
Yeah, we've got the. There's a case of having plenty of possession, but we played in front of them, right in front of them. It was too slow, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not the master tactician, sorry, but to me the build-up was too slow. Without Aaron Martin, we haven't got a big physical presence. They're just clearing the ball, and we've got to start from our own half again.
Yeah, I mean,
we done all day yesterday.
I mean, as you can see in these ones here, obviously Campbell didn't get enough power on that one. But as I say, it was one of them games, wasn't it? But
it was really frustrating.
We've got lots of messages coming in. Keep them coming in, everybody. And if there's any Wrexham fans joining us, please do get involved. We'd love to hear from you. David Tron, evening, lads. We've got BT Sports Corruption. Obviously, the game got moved, but Wrexham had a game late on Saturday. You can understand why it has been done. We'd be appreciative if it was done for us. And then we've got another one here from the Cow Daily. Feel really positive about this season. We haven't been outclassed. And when the players gel, we'll hurt some teams. I think we will. I agree with them statements, but we've just got to be more clinical. We've got to have that grit in the box.
Like I say, this injuries to key players hasn't helped neither. It doesn't help when 3 or 4 signings have been injured by no fault of their own. I'm not having to pop at them.
Yeah,
that hasn't helped.
I had Dan Jarvis was on the commentary and Lewis Knight. Of course, Dan is close to hopefully getting on the bench. Obviously not fully match fit, but he's getting the fitness. Obviously, I'm sure he's raring to try and get on the bench for tomorrow night against his old club. We don't want to rush him back too quickly, but as you say that, we've had Aaron Martin in and out with injury, and when he's been on, he's looked absolutely fantastic. So hopefully he can come back. I've got a message here from Taylor Howie. Wealdstone goal came from one mistake. I don't remember anything else, and there's the mistake there.
Yeah,
Defenders.
You've got to take your hat off to him. That's a bloody good finish as well.
It is. I mean, he absolutely.
Had a lot to do when he won that ball.
Defenders.
It's a great finish.
And the defenders are damned if they do and damned if they don't. They would have got a red card there, and we've seen that happen in the second half. There was contact, down he goes, and it was a bitter one to take, especially with how dominant we were when the red card came, and more even dominant before the red card. Let's be honest, seeing these highlights. But yeah, it's just a bitter to swallow.
Well, we would have done probably the same, but Wealdstone took their theatrics, led a lot to be desired at times.
Not as bad as Notts Counties, but yeah.
Their number 2 must be the biggest toddler in the world because he just walked along and fell.
It happens. We've got another one. Taylor Howie. I agree with Mickey. I feel like we slowed down a lot. What happened to the intensity? I think I've got the intensity. Just the movement in the box hasn't been the best, and also as well. Let's finish with this one. Our strike force is quite small, and the defenders are massive. And 3 players, they're all fantastic, and you would be happy with any combination of them. But you'd like a big man in with 2 of them. And I think that would be a lot better. That having the speed and movement of an Allen, Campbell, or Blackett. But we've got the physical presence there. I mean, he did well, hit the woodwork. But yeah, you just need that little something extra there up front, and it will come. We'll give a team a spanking. I'm not saying that it'll be one of the big boys. You never know. It might be nice, but the possession that was showing, the creativity that was showing, it's just that final third. I mean, look at this. This was just repeated, about 10, 15 times on. So unlucky, hitting the woodwork again. And it's just, one of them things.
Like you said, it's the strike force, when they've got the ball down on that, you to me, it's pointless keep going long just to try and get in behind them. The midfield's got to move and create that space for them. And that on Saturday, it just seemed to be that everyone was trying the same thing over and over again, and now you've got the process. It was just really frustrating to watch. And
there you go. There was the record. He did get his hands on him and pull him down.
See, that was the one instance where the ball was played for our strike force to run onto.
Yeah,
it's pointless knocking crosses into boxes when you've got none of them's near 6 foot. To me, it's pointless. If you're going to knock a ball in, you've got to drill it along the floor for them to have a chance.
Definitely.
Blackett's got a header off, but that was few and far between. It wasn't until Will Harris come on, we got another header in the box.
Yeah, I mean, they sat very narrow and invited us to go out to the wings, didn't they?
Defended well. You cannot see anything but.
No, as I said, it's just one of them things. Taylor Howie, is Story injured? I think we missed him pinging balls forward. I'm not sure. I think there might be a case of rotation. Of course, we've got a smaller squad. There's travelling happening, and the game on.
After the Dorkin game, was it Dorkin who got played last time before these? I think he said he had a couple of knocks, so I wouldn't be surprised if that 3G invite. It's horrible stuff.
Yeah. We've got a message from Colin Scott, of course, Kevin Scott's dad. Adam Campbell looked excellent again in those highlights. He was fantastic. He's in and around everywhere like he was last season. Just you can look at this movement. We went out wide because they were so narrow. They were inviting us to do that, and
if you're doing the 10 men, that's what you do.
Yep. And wasn't to be. Sadly, it wasn't to be. great following from Wealdstone. It brought about 135, wasn't it? I think it was up. I mean, it's a long trip. Obviously, we
Fantastic.
got to try and
Absolutely
take the numbers like
fantastic.
that down. And a big thank you to the Wealdstone fans as well, because obviously we had Paul on last week on the podcast, and so there was a lot of them tuned in on Saturday to the commentary. So a big thank you to everyone that's done that. But yeah,
You think of Owen Gallagher?
Yeah, as I said, that was another one. Owen Gallagher was announced on Saturday morning as a new loan until, was it December? I think it is.
31st,
yeah, December 31st. And North East lad, knows a lot of the players from the youth systems that he's played in. He come on for Pye, who we forgot to mention was concussed. Obviously, he had to come off with a head injury. He come on straight into left back. He's a left winger. And he's got some pace as well, hasn't he? And you can imagine a target man to whip them balls into the box for would be something else. But no, good cameo debut, wasn't it? It's a shame.
Do you want to hear a stat about him?
Oh, yeah, then let's hear the stat.
His dad was Newcastle winger John Gallagher.
Ah.
When Newcastle beat Leeds 5-2, Mickey Quinn's debut, Gallagher scored. His dad scored one of the goals. Mickey Quinn got 4. And his great uncle is none other than Sir Alex Ferguson.
Wow, that's quite some stats, isn't it?
Yeah, courtesy of Colin Scott. That.
Ah, well, there we go. And I know why my camera is working itself, because I haven't got the SD card in. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly get this SD card in, play another advert, and when we come back, we're going to invite our guest on and have a chat about Wrexham and the game tomorrow. Right, 1 second. I'll just get an advert up and we'll be back momentarily. Seamless. You wouldn't know. Right. I'm going to bring on Nathan. Hello there, Nathan. How are you doing?
I'm all right. We're still recovering from Ryan Reynolds putting the National League on blast to his 20 million followers. So,
oh wow!
I've just seen it actually. Nathan.
Just seen it. Yeah, he's. I think. Just very very quickly on that. I think he's got a point. The ability to stream. I mean, we would say that because we've got a lot of international fans and new fans from the documentary, but it seems a no-brainer. International fans can't get to the games anyway. The game's not on TV.
Yeah.
Increased exposure for the league, increased revenue for the member clubs. Every home team could, say tomorrow, say it was flipped tomorrow, say the game was at Gateshead. I'd be all for that game being streamed, Gateshead keeping the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'd be all for that anyway. I'm fine though. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game actually.
I mean, there was actually.
We're not.
There was a statement earlier in the summer that clubs were allowed to stream their own games, not on a weekend though. The wording. I'll try and look for it shortly. The wording was something along the lines of that you can't stream a Saturday game. Now, my mind went to, well, surely that means it can stream a weekend one, but I wasn't unsure if it was going to be international or the obviously with BT. I seen a tweet earlier on from 1 second, former guest of the show. I'll get the message up. I was going to put this up on screen, but Thomas Fahini, he's put Wrexham game against Gateshead tomorrow will not be streamed. The club has asked the National League to approach for BT. The club says that a request hasn't been considered by the board of the National League yet, never made a decision. So has that been, that was at 6:15. That was tweeted out.
Yeah, I spoke to someone at the club just before I came on here actually, and no progress on that. And look, it's late in the day. I want to put in a call myself tomorrow to the National League and just see what they've got to have a response to. It's Ryan Reynolds, for God's sake. Yeah, you've got it. If an A-list movie star is demanding international streaming of Wrexham v Gateshead, I think he deserves an answer. But it's also very bonkers at the same time that is a thing,
On the off chance, if Rob and Ryan are watching, follow us on Heat Army
There you go. Do it.
Underscore Army, and if you DM us, we'll bring you on the show. What can I say?
But I think in all seriousness, though, like the amount, I don't know how many fans you'll bring tomorrow. It's a hell of a trip, especially midweek. But surely if your fans had the ability to pay a tenner to watch the match, even if you're a little bit scared, even if you think we might put 3 or 4 past you, surely there would be a chunk of fans that would do that. And I know if it was the other way around, we might take. Let's be ambitious here and say we'd take 400 up there. Probably not, but let's just say 400 or 500 maybe. There'll be you'd get thousands. So you'd say you'd get 5,000 at 5,000 streams at 10.
It's going to give everyone a little payday. Everyone knew how to do it in the pandemic. It doesn't matter what the quality is. If it, I mean, Gateshead was luckily quite good. The commentator was even better. I mean, every club's going to get a little bit of a payday for something that they do with ease during the pandemic. So yeah.
Even if it was just midweek games at this point, I think Joe or a commentator put, other than 3 p.m. games, I can see the reticence to open it up completely, but surely to God on a midweek or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm against the ones on a Saturday. I'll be honest. I think one.
Well, we always say on the commentary that we're happy people can join us, but we always encourage people to get there on a match day, because that's where football should be, where it should be enjoyed. We're there for the people either ill, working, or living abroad, or on holiday. But yeah, I think midweek would be a good idea on that front. We've got a few messages coming. If you've got any messages for Nathan and ask about what's happening with the whole situation over there, the documentary and everything like that. Let's see, we've got one there from Liv Walden. We've got one from Joe. Other than 3 p.m. games, I agree. Yeah, I think that makes sense, doesn't it? I've got a big message from Sam Pennington. I will read it out. Don't worry. I'll get to the time when I can read the longer ones out. But well, before we get into about the game tomorrow, it's a bit of a media circus. It must be great for you on the podcasting side. It all writes itself for you. I bet there's a week where you think what we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah, it's we can't get everything in. It's if you're not on another celeb's Instagram. Look, it is good, and the circus is amazing, and what it's done for the club, and it's completely re-energized the town, and the club is a fun place to be again. We've gone from 4,500, 5,000 fans to selling out every single game, 10,000 there tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's amazing. New fans, newer fans, youngsters in the town, maybe on a local AstroTurf or whatever, not in that Man United or that Juventus top or that Liverpool top, in the Wrexham red or the Wrexham blue or the Wrexham white, and that's amazing. That's what it's all about. And I go to the games now, and you've got floods of families and kids at the players' entrance waiting to get autographs. The players are coming from the car park. It's taking them ages to get there, and it was weird to me when I went to the first game against Eastleigh. Players are getting mobbed, and I just saw Rob Lee walk through, and none of the kids obviously batted an eyelid, and he just walked through, and I thought, oh my God, it's Rob Lee.
Yeah.
And Elliot Lee's getting mobbed by all these players, and Rob Lee, the understated bloke he is, just strolled on through to his entrance, and but ultimately, I said this, I think on our podcast last week, it all means absolutely nothing, the media circus, if you go out and lose at Woking on Saturday, or if you don't go out and get a result. We've got to get out of this league now. This is our 15th attempt. We spent the money now. We previously, when we didn't do it against Dagenham before the takeover took place, or before the real money had been invested, before Phil Parkinson arrived, we had a budget that was like 11th in the league or something. I think it was lower than Maidenhead. The manager at the time was sort of hinting at that in the press at the time. So we couldn't go out and invest big money to get an Ollie Palmer at 300,000 or to get a Tom O'Connor at a League One. Now we've gone and plucked I don't know the number off the top of my head, 5 or 6 League One players. Ben Tozer, Aaron Hayden, I know is League Two, but is a really good player, maybe our best player. Paul Mullin is incredible. We've ran out of excuses now. It's just, can we handle the pressure week after week? And so, it's great. Lots more eyeballs on us, but lots more people to watch us trip up, I think. And a lot of people wanting us to trip up. So it's, as Eastleigh proved
tomorrow.
As Eastleigh proved on that opening day, if you can just hang in the game for 20, 25 minutes, we all get a bit tetchy, because we've seen it too many times. And And if you, I tell you what though, Eastleigh, from what I've seen, you look a better team than them. I mean, they got pummeled tonight by Barnet.
Yeah.
And they managed to slow the game down. Every throw-in took a while, every free kick. And obviously the crowd are getting angry at that and frustrated. And it's getting onto the players. And yes, there's a lot more of us than the away following.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, the longer it goes on, the more people are thinking, we've got to score soon, And I don't know, and when I came in, you mentioned him, but God, it'd be fun if we saw Dan Jarvis tomorrow, because he appears on the documentary this week, and
Yeah.
I think people are going to be a little bit, they'll be interested to see what he said on it, and I don't know, he really massively divided opinion among our fan base. I don't know if he's even played for you yet, but
No, unfortunately,
he'll be desperate to play if he is. Is he injured? Is he?
Yeah, he got injured in pre-season. He hasn't played a game yet. Not even pre-season.
Wait, did he do? Sorry, forgive me now. Did he do commentary with you guys last week?
Yeah, he did commentary with me on Saturday. Yeah,
nice guy.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah,
very nice guy. Yeah, but I mean, looking at your kind of, I mean, admittedly, a lot of Wrexham fans are confident, especially at home. We lost once last season at home to Yeovil, so the race course is the fortress that we want it to be, and it was on the road where we tripped up. But yeah, Wrexham Gateshead over the years have thrown up some great games. Some really good games.
I was going to say that, Nathan, if you'll let us cut in.
Sorry, go on to ramble on.
No, it's okay. It's just it was embarrassing for you that we won 7-2 at your place, but the demonstration that went on that day, we all joined in with your demonstration as well, and for me to see you just go from that to Ryan Reynolds and Rob, whatever he's called, hiring all this money in.
Come on, try
I'm not sure. Is it McKelvey or McHenry? I'm not.
McElhenney. There you go. McElhenney. There you go. No problem.
From seeing the actual demonstration at the race course itself to where you are now is absolutely wow.
But that's what, very quickly on that. It's as you say, that's a really good point, because I think a lot of people are looking at going, Wrexham, underdog story. What is this nonsense? They've spent a ton of money and they've got the best squad in the league. Like, there's nothing underdog about that. But as you say, it goes back further than that. The club, we raised £127,000 in a day, not even many moons ago now, just over a decade ago, and that, there's no hyperbole, that saved the club in a day. And the club would have been, you don't even want to speak into existence. I don't know what would have happened, but as you say, it's complete night and day. And so I'm biased. I'm thrilled for us, and I think we deserve it as a fan base. And I think anyone who is critical of it is jealous, really, because what a gift from the gods it is.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me which football fan of a club in this level or the level below, or even the level above. Let's face it. Come on, in the Football League and League Two, there'd be a lot of clubs that snap your hand off for the media attention and what comes along with it.
The investment.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it's lovely to watch. Just it's a shame we've got to play. But going forward.
What was Hartlepool fans think?
Yeah, that was the rumor.
Yeah. Well, on that, it's really funny, because the story on that is that they didn't actually get even to the point of Ryan and Rob. So when initial conversations were had with Inner Circle Sports in New York and these clubs, it was kind of, Ryan wasn't even putting his name anywhere near it at that point. But there was a man called Rob who they were introduced to over voice call. So Rob looking to buy a team, American investors and all that sort of thing. And Hartlepool said, no, thank you very much. We're absolutely fine as it is. And lo and behold, I mean, I don't want that to sound like Wrexham wasn't the first choice. I think the feelers were out over a couple
of course. I mean,
places, but with Wrexham, you've got massively unrivaled area. At least with Hartlepool, you've got Newcastle, Sunderland, Gates. You've got all these other teams around it. Wrexham is just, I know you could go over the border, but think North Wales. That's it. You've got the whole. You can get a whole country behind you, really.
It makes sense, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah, especially with
Colwyn Bay suddenly have a revival.
Or Bangor or Kevin Druids get their act together. Yeah. But I don't know. What do you want to know about the game tomorrow? Then what can I fill you in on about Wrexham?
Obviously,
can you just hobble everybody? That was he.
Nah, I'm not a reducer or whatever you want to call me as a tackler. So I don't think I'm going to be very good.
We've got
But
a
I'm
few
te-
questions. I've got one here from David Tron. How has Elliot Lee settled in? Of course, we mentioned him just before there.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. Fabulous little player. It's like he's got super glue stuck to his feet, and the ball doesn't really tend to leave it. But what I would say, it's been a bit of a slow burn. He comes off the bench against Eastleigh, scores 2. You know, perfect debut. Rob Lee's in the stands. You got Alan Shearer tweeting about him.
Yeah,
Amazing. And then we're thinking, God, this guy is gonna go up and up. The league is finished. The league is ruined. And then he played at Yeovil and got taken off. He was all right, flashes, but no goal, no assist. Didn't do anything. Chesterfield was a horrible night. We didn't have a shot on target. We played awfully. No one played well. And then, you know, who else was after that? Maidstone at home. He wasn't in the starting 11, and we won 5-0. So okay, we've played really well. He come on very late, and at the weekend, he didn't start again. Came on, changed the game, gets the final assist for the 3rd goal, and really the mood after that was he has to start now.
yeah,
Like I'm all for bedding him in, but look, if he doesn't start tomorrow night, I think given the annoyance, I know this sounds really bad given that we won the game, but a lot of people were frustrated at how the midfield played against Woking. You know,
yeah,
they didn't think with the extra man, they didn't think we controlled it and all that thing. And you can get into, well, it's quite hard. It's not as easy 10v11. It's not always straightforward like that. But none of the midfield there really stamped their authority on, right, I've got to be picked every single week. And so I think people looked at Elliot Lee, bright when he came on. He's got that low center of gravity. I'd be stunned if he didn't play tomorrow night. And I think he's, worryingly for you, I think he's chomping at the bit
yeah. Well, he
to
played
really
against
cement himself.
season in the FA
played
Cup.
against before he always scores a horrible little get.
Yeah. And also, as well, I can remember when we played in the FA Cup, there's a lot of people, I suppose, on Tyneside. Alan Shearer was spotted in the stand at the game, and everyone's, oh, Shearer's coming to watch Gateshead. No, he had come to watch Elliot Lee. So
Isn't he Godfather though?
he
Yeah,
might be.
I'd say Will Shearer. Obviously, Alan's lad is best mates with Elliot, and I got a lot of stick actually because I put a picture of Elliot and Will Shearer in the away end of, at Tranmere. Obviously,
Yeah.
Wrexham and Tranmere, good rivals and everything, and so I put a picture of Elliot Lee and Wrexham fans celebrating wins at Tranmere, and a lot of angry Tranmere fans in my mentions. You can imagine a lot of fume. But yeah, it's interesting because if you looked at that first game, you think, wow, this guy. Wardy. Well, we'll see, Colin. We'll see. I mean, good luck to Wardy. He'll have a busy night if he.
Just on the side note, I think you will be impressed with how Gateshead play. I think
No, you know what?
you might even be shocked because we're as I said, we were talking before, we've dominated a lot of the games that I've seen so far that I've been able to cover, and even against Notts County. I mean, Notts County fans were saying they played bad. I just think we stagnated them, and with our pressing game and the way we move the ball. So I'm hoping it can be carried on tomorrow night. And who knows?
I mean, that'll suit us.
Yeah.
That'll suit us if you at least have a go, because I
Mhm.
think the teams that get any change out of us are the ones that come with limited ambition, set pieces only. Those kind of teams where it's 2 banks of 4 and whatever. Because because
Never
then
worry about Nathan. Don't worry about corners. We'll crap on them. Every time we get a corner, I just sit back.
That's a Gateshead tradition, that.
But we've got the long throw of Ben Tozer, so a lot of our attack is often, one of the big frustrations is, come on, you've got Elliot Lee, you've got Paul Mullin, you've got Jordan Davis, got to create more from open play. And, we're really nitpicking up. We won 5-0 the last home game. I get that. Maidstone are very poor, and you'll be better than them, I'm sure. But it's like, we want to be able to create more from open play. So it'd be interesting if you come and dominate possession at the racecourse. I'll be surprised, admittedly. That's not to say you won't have any of the ball, but if you come and dominate the possession, I would be surprised. But I think that will actually work in our favour.
Yeah.
We've got the fullbacks, we've got the wing backs even. Jacob Mendy, I think he went off with cramp, but he should be. Parkinson said he should be all right. He's a massive asset down the left. And I don't know what kind of shape you guys play. I don't know if you will match us up 3-5-2 or whether you'll go 4 at the back or
it'll be
what you've typically done.
All this season's been 4-3-3.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. That's just 2 different, styles that I've seen a lot of teams try and just go, oh, screw it, we'll match up 3 at the back and
No,
and they just,
It's a 4-3-3, but it defending it becomes 4-5-1. But when going forward, it's 4-3-3.
Well, what I will say, and I don't know if this is a curse word in these parts, but my attitude towards Gateshead and the kind of the quality of play you've been able to develop, not just bring in, is I look at Macaulay Langstaff now at Notts County and looks a fabulous player. I think he'll be right up there with Mullin for people saying at Wrexham. He's going to be the golden boot threat to Mullin. Brilliant player.
It was his second stint at the club when he come back, and he's a completely different player. We got him as a young lad. He had scored a lot of goals in the Northern League for Billingham Symphonia, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we were, at the time, we still had a little bit of money, and he wasn't. He was loaned out and didn't really get the chances. Went to York. We were all a bit gutted about that because at the time the club had been took over by some idiots, and he was one of the players you would have liked to have kept. But he come back, and under Mike Williamson and Ian Watson, and you might have heard this if you've seen interviews, there's a word called the process up here in the Northeast, and that is that's the process of what the club do. They'll play the same way because they believe it's a winning way of football. It was last year, and we're playing decent stuff. We're looking a threat, but just got to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal, and we'll start to open up. But I think obviously Macaulay and Kedwin were fantastic. I'd never downplay what they did for the club, but any half decent striker with the service that they got last year will score goals for Gateshead. But we just need to have a bit more of a physical presence up front. That's that. But Macaulay and Kedwin, for a club our size, we've got to bring in players for nothing and sell them on for a huge profit. That's how our club will survive. So if we have a Macaulay Langstaff once every 3 years, which is fantastic, and if they leave in a better position and leave the club in a better position, hopefully it'll all work out. But finding a Macaulay and Kedwin Scott is not easy.
When he come back, when we signed Macaulay back, I thought, why? That's how much trees he ripped up in his first period.
And on his period at York wasn't exactly anything to write home about. Then he come back first season.
I think he's just matured.
Yeah, I think the first season when he come back, obviously when the season got curtailed with COVID, he looked okay. He was scoring goals. The COVID season that got, it's nothing really you can talk about when it got ended and never started again. But the club, of being a full-time club, carried on training, and there was whispers and rumours coming out that Macaulay looked great from March onwards. And you're like, oh well, it's in training. You hear that all the time. Someone's flying in pre-season. Pre-season come around and he was untouchable, and you're like, ooh, let's get into the league. 10 games in, it was apparent he was going to be going for 20 plus. He was just finding space, and Kedwin does what Kedwin does. He pops up in the right spaces as well, and more of a physical presence than Macaulay. And with the way we played and give them the service, then it was a match made in heaven, wasn't it? But when you play that well and score that many goals, bigger clubs will come knocking.
Yeah, I mean, just reading the one of the comments there that you'd be top if you'd have kept Langstaff. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
who knows?
I mean, I kind of
could have kept the two of them, maybe.
On a side note, there was somebody hiding under a name on the chat like this, because we do it like this, but with just a blank screen for the commentary, and they kept having a go at the club, saying about, you've lost 50, you lost them goals, you've ruined. And we all knew it was going to be, even with Macaulay Langstaff and Kedwin Scott, it's always going to be a tougher league to move into, going into the league above. Yes, we've been here before, but the club's very different. We've had to rebuild. It's fan run now and going, in a better direction off the pitch. This club has to survive, and we've said it so many times. And just as I said before, if you can bring a player in, they move forward in their career and leave the club in a better position than they leave, then you can't be angry and saying that they went to the club in the same league. And when they're getting their wages doubled, tripled, even quadrupled, if you're a plumber and you're working for yourself, and then a big chain comes on and goes, I tell you what, I'll give you, 10 grand a month and a free house. Would you come here? I'm saying that's what they've got. I'm just giving an example of getting extreme wages.
I get it. Look, I get it. We've been there. We were ran by the fans, and we had people like Louis Moult, who I personally loved. One of my favorite strikers pre Paul Mullin. And we actually had Louis on the podcast, and he sort of said he wanted to stay, but the club was saying you need to go. You know, you need the money. What that money will do is that money's more valuable, sadly, to us than you are, and that broke a lot of the fans because we really wanted him.
Yeah.
We're watching Gateshead for 8 years. Don't think we've seen a successful corner.
Yeah.
You just know you're scoring from
It's on the lie. We've seen 3 in that time.
you just know you're coming. You just know you're going to score from a corner tomorrow now.
And not with that giant of a centre half you've got.
Well, I tell you what, then
Our centre forwards are as big at the minute, and Hayden's about 14
what,
times
Aaron-
the size.
You'd be like, why have
Aaron-
the
yeah.
new players on the pitch?
I tell you what, Aaron Hayden is a fabulous footballer. You know, he's the one where I think a lot of people just expected Ben Tozer to be that guy that would come in and look way above the level. Aaron Hayden, hopefully for our side you'll see it tomorrow, but he looks so composed in both boxes. I think personally that he's the biggest threat in both boxes as a defender in the entire league. I think, you know, he's so, like you say, he's so big and he's so strong and people are bouncing off him, and he's so brave as well. You know, the Woking goal, keepers clattered him.
Is he intelligent with it as well? Because sometimes we've
I
had.
watched the game. I
Yeah.
watched the Woking Wrexham game, and I was like, whoa.
I mean, look, he's got a moment in him. Whereas I think, you know, you looked at their first goal, he's completely switched off at the back post,
Yeah.
and they've done him. But really, that you could make on one hand a list of times where he's been really caught out, and he looks as well like he can bring it out from the back. Whereas Tozer looks like he's more of he wants to sit and dictate and let the people do the running around him. But I mean, we're used to it by now. But 3 centre backs for a while was really odd because people were saying, "Why are we playing 3 centre backs against Maidenhead at home or Maidstone at home or whatever?"
The season we got demoted and we finished in the top half, and we played on Steve Watson was the manager then, and we played with 5 at the back, 3 centre backs, and to be honest, everyone loved it, didn't we? We played a good brand of football, and the next season, I think some people, I think we did try and play with 5 at the back for a little bit when we had Toby Lees on loan and a couple other players, but you know, obviously the process happened, and they found a different way, and now we play with that, but we've got a midfielder in Owen Bailey who will drop back. So you do effectively have 3 at the back sometimes, or 5, because he is intelligent enough to drop back. We had Jack Hunter last year that played in the same position and not sharing that position at times. But yeah, we do have that in our process where the team does adapt to the shape of what's happening around them. There's, you know, players are very they're playing a number of positions. So you have to with a small squad, of course, but they do it to good effect.
The game will be won and lost completely. I know this you could say it's about every game, but the game will be won and lost in the midfield. I'm seeing that comment now. I see it every single week about Max Cleworth and, like, you know, how you know he run at him. He's a fabulous player, and everyone who's tried to go at him, Yeovil tried it, didn't get any change out of him, and they ended up going down the right. You know, that of all the players to target in the team, I don't think he is the one. And you'll see for yourselves, and everyone seems to be proven wrong every single week. But you know, he's a young lad that is so mature, and you know, championship clubs and others are looking at him and thinking, is he one to get into the system and then start their own process on him? We're glad they're not, but really, midfield is the one where we don't seem to have quite figured out the balance. The personnel is changing every week. You know, do we play Luke Young? I will say captain Luke Young, play him, but do you play him with James Jones or Tom O'Connor or Jordan Davis or Elliot Lee? And then who do you play in front of them? There's 5 sort of people, and we can't settle on 3. So what that does is
lovely problem to have. The half leads.
what I'm saying from
what do you think of Parkinson?
I mean, look, what's his mood in the fan base, Parkinson? It's so difficult to say because you sound really spoiled. You know, we got to cup final and finished second last year. What can you say? I can't really knock him on that first season. Stockport were a good team as
under
well.
The Kosh podcast?
I've listened to that episode and exactly what you're talking about. He's not, look, from people I've spoke to in the game, he's not the most likable bloke in the world. And, you know, players that have worked with him, some love him. And if you don't love him, I don't think you like him. But right now, look, he's going to get the season. The owners, you know, the documentary episode coming out this week, for anyone that's going to watch that, is a big thing on Phil Parkinson. Why they wanted Phil Parkinson, why he was their number one target. You know, really spelling it out. This is the guy that's going to get us up. Second last year, there's no, in my opinion, there is no Stockport. I know Chesterfield and Notts County are good, but in terms of what we've spent more than them. You know, I think Stockport had spent a similar amount, and you could argue, well, first season, but really, the midfield will be the one where tomorrow, that's the one where people are critical of Parkinson. How has he not figured it out? In all seriousness, I'd be fascinated to see that, because you know, you're talking about dominating the game. That comes from the midfield and how you can. And so for us, you're saying we're making a laughing joke of having too many options, which is, like I say, a great issue to have, but also it's becoming an issue because you need to settle on a team now that is going to build up relationships, because I don't think our midfield know what their role is, who attacks and who drops and who. So then you end up sort of Aaron Hayden up to Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer, and we can go maybe 10 minutes without the midfield really having any sway. Whereas if you can get hold of it, like you say, frustrate the crowd at the racecourse, slow it down, keep the ball, move it around, I think you'll get a lot of joy in that area. I really do.
Yeah. And
I'm still going to be behind the settee going, when I'm listening to the commentary. I'm shite myself.
I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'll be able to listen in, and if it does get streamed, I mean, there's no such thing as a VPN, is there?
And what I'd say is as well is that, what I'd tell you know,
I've got a fly in the eye there.
But the thing is, playing Wrexham, you'll be going there surely with zero expectation in terms of, sure, you obviously want to win the game, and
players won't be.
No, but I mean, like, you think the fans are expecting you to go and win that game if you don't win that game?
I'm expecting.
The players are a different breed altogether.
Right, sure. But what I'm saying is, you know, I think that suits anybody that goes there, because if you've got something about you, the players believe in themselves. Like, it's 11v11. I'm as good as Luke Young, or I'm as good as, you know, whatever the case may be. Or Campbell goes, I'm as good as Paul Mullin. So whether he believes it or not.
I'm not going to say I'm going there expecting to win. I'm expecting to go there and shock you, either with our brand of football or maybe nick a few goals against the run of play, if that's the case. But I'm hoping. But I think, I think the way you were talking, and we spoke to other fans, I think the way we play, I think it lends itself to being a great game of football, and I think hopefully a great advertisement for the league. I think I'm just excited. It'll be interesting to see where our defensive lineup will be. Obviously, we've got Mike Williamson, player manager. He hasn't played yet this season, but he was on the bench and he was stripped at half time and going through a vigorous warm up. I thought he was actually half time. So obviously he loves a good aerial battle. So does Louis Story. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was one of them two with Kenton Richardson at centre back. So yeah, it all lends itself to it's going to be a game of chess. It's who's going to have the right pieces at the right time, I think, in this one.
I mean, Ollie Palmer's going to be a big fit to throw it over to Mike. It's going to be Ollie Palmer. If you can't stand up to his physicality, you're in trouble. I think
we've had him in our back pocket before. Just ask Grimsby.
Nathan, is one question I'd like to ask you. You know the other end of the ground, what's normally covered up. Is that going to get done up?
Yeah. So they've. I mean, demolition on that is due to start, I got told October, so we're close now, about a month away, and that'll become the fans voted on what they wanted that to become, and that will become a 5,500 capacity safe standing area. Because you know, it's the cop end, as we call it, is filled with nostalgia, especially for the older fans, that they remember exactly brick by brick where they stood with their dad and their granddad and the mom and the grandma. Honestly, it's mad. People will be able to take you to the exact spot where they stood for the Arsenal game or for Man United back in the day, or Porto, or these other games. And so the idea of that just becoming a standard modern seater was never going to fly. It had to be something to stand, and people wanted to get that spirit back. But when we expected that to be done, I think they want it for the start of start of 2023-24 or the one after that? It'll take some time, I think. I think it might be 2023-24 they want it for.
But just going back, obviously, to Rob and Ryan coming in, they seem to have really took on board the area as itself, that it isn't just a football club. It's that they seem to have bought into everything social media wise. They're doing it fantastically, and it's not just stuff they're putting out, it's the way they're interacting with fans that's being caught on camera. I'm sure they're probably aware of it, but they seem nice guys anyway that would do that, whether it would be,
I think that when they came over, I think it really hit home that, you know, teams and fan bases like Gateshead, like Wrexham, the fans care a heck of a lot. You know, they put so much into the club. Like, it is the lifeblood of the place.
Yeah.
And fans give and give and give and have done for years and years. And so it's not a joke. You know, I know that they can have a laugh and a joke, and you see Rob McElhenney's urinal plaque, you know, because he hadn't won a game and he was cursed. And we all have a laugh and a joke.
Mickey hasn't seen that.
No, he hasn't. But because Rob McElhenney hadn't won a game for the first few times he'd come to see us, Ryan Reynolds jokingly put up a plaque saying he was cursed and all that sort of thing. So, you know, but you know what I mean? The thing is it going to be one big joke? Is it all for a documentary? They came over, met the people, went to the Turf pub, went to, you know, T-Pub and all these other places, and we're like, this isn't a joke to a lot of people. This is like, if we can get this town believing again and enjoying themselves, because the town had just become depressed as a place. Like, you know, no new business was coming there. People were leaving there. Like, youngsters were leaving and not coming back. The fan base was dwindling. We were going nowhere. And they saw, okay, we can have a laugh and a joke and take the piss, whatever, but it's no joke, this. And so, you know, stuff like the Gresford Colliery disaster, you know, a memorial of that on the shirt, and making that a key part of the documentary intro sequence, and, you know, maybe a memorial outside the new stand. Little things like that they go so far, because they don't need to care about that in Hollywood. Why they don't need to, but then they read up on it and they care, and, you know, they deal with other fans and podcasts and all these other things that, you know, they care a heck of a lot, honestly, about the National League. Even the streaming thing, I know people say it's about Wrexham, but everyone will benefit from that. Well, he doesn't have to tweet. He's got his own chairman feed. It's not for him. It's for Michael in Alabama or Kevin in, you know, Wisconsin or whatever. It's not for them, but they care a heck of a lot.
Definitely do. And well, we'll talk about being serious. Someone isn't being serious here. Hi, Dave. Nathan's mic is huge compared to yours. Now, it's not size. It's how Is that a Yeti mic you've got there?
It is a Yeti. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I'm just a small man, so by contrast, it looks big.
Know what you were going to say there.
It's normal size. There you go.
Charles, I'm a big man. That's why this looks small in comparison. This is this one.
You got a proper studio there. At least you look like you've got the whole setup.
Got too much.
Very impressed.
It's the thing is, you wouldn't be impressed with the rest of the room. This is the kitchen. This is the bit that looks professional. The other bit, I daresn't turn the camera.
We did tell one of the lasses team that we had a proper studio. Do you actually believe?
Yeah, we thought we had a proper studio set up somewhere. We've got people. Someone earlier on. I'll just put the message. I don't want you to think I'm missing out messages. Predictions tomorrow night. Go on, Nathan. Since you're the guest, we'll let you go first.
I'm going to go with a 3-1 Wrexham win.
Ooh. At least we're scored. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're big on the shutouts at the minute, but
we've got Joseph. He's going 1-1 tomorrow night. I would take that. I'll go. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to go for a 2-1. Nick a 2-1. Dominant Nick 2-1.
Wrexham Twitter will be in meltdown if that happens. Good God.
I'm trying to be positive, but I just can't see us getting a result down there. But at the same time, I'm still going to see it. 2s each.
2s each. It's going for a Desmond 2-2.
That's a good game.
That's with fingers crossed, toes crossed, hide behind the set. You go, no. But
there you go. 2-2 as well. We live.
Yeah. So I mean, it should be a. I think an entertaining game. That's the main thing. We've got a question for Nathan from David. Who's your favorite Wrexham player? Is that of all time, David, or current one?
I was gonna say, David, if you want a current one, I will say, I mean, because the cult hero for the fans is Paul Mullin, or Super Paul Mullin, as we call him. I'm going to go Aaron Hayden. I just think he's a fabulous, fabulous player. And does he predict 2 to every game?
No,
I
I
think
don't.
We'll have the last two.
I think honestly, I banged onto the high heavens. Aaron Hayden is such a good footballer, and we've had great defenders, and we had Manny Smith, who I loved. And
Yeah,
I
we
was
did.
I
lucky
looked
enough,
him up. Yeah,
and I, a very quick side plug on this. He's been very open about his own struggle and mental health
Yeah.
and everything. And I went to see him in Birmingham, and we had a 2-hour chat. And I don't know if Gateshead fans haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that on our podcast. It wasn't about Wrexham. It was just really, really good about him.
Yeah.
And, I loved Manny Smith as a player. Brilliant for us. We've had loads of great centre backs. Sean Pearson, I loved. Mark Crichton, I loved. Nat Knight Percival, loads over the years. And you can go back even further, Brian Carey and people like that.
Yeah.
But Aaron Hayden's are fabulous. And if you want my all-time one, there's
Jamal
loads.
Fifield.
No, a great bloke, but
I
no,
love
he's not
Danny
my favorite
Wright.
all-time. Danny Wright. No, my favorite one of all time goes back a bit further to the kind of Darren Ferguson era. But we had a Basque striker called Juan Ugarte. And when I was a young lad and I was a mascot away at Stockport, we played Stockport away, big game for us. And he scored a hat-trick that day, and I got to walk out with him. And so, I just loved, when you're a kid, you love strikers, don't you? And I love the fact that he was just, not from the area, and I, was able to score loads of goals for us. And I could give you loads. There's loads, but that's my two. I'll go Juan Ugarte and Aaron Hayden for the current lot.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, obviously, we're joking about a couple of players there, but when we had Manny Smith and Jamal Fifield at Gateshead, they were fantastic. Just
what a player. I mean, Jamal, the both of them are the type of player where you're going to get 7 out of 10 every single week at the very minimum. You know what I mean? And they're so good for your dressing room because they demand the best.
Such nice people as well.
Yeah.
Unbelievably nice. I mean, Manny, I've had the fortune of meeting and speaking to, so I can speak to that. But Jamal as well. Everyone I speak to says, "What a player!" Boreham Wood, the guys down there say, he runs a dressing room, but he's like a brother. He's a father figure, like the fun uncle. He's everything. He's
if you follow him on
good and you're bad.
If you follow him on Instagram, he's a very positive person. Even in defeat, everything is it's just a. I'd recommend it. It's a good follow, especially being a former Gateshead and Wrexham player. Right.
Have we had anyone else? I'm trying to think who's crossed over.
Danny Wright. Where's York?
Where's York? I mean, the bloke was too fast for his own legs. That was our thought. He was so fast, but he didn't really know what his legs couldn't keep up.
He just wasn't consistent.
Wasn't consistent, but I loved him.
That was for us. He was first game for us. I think he scored and he rapid, and everyone was like, "Wow, we've got an absolute speed demon." And then 5 games went by and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then he did it again, and another 5, and it was like, we can't get on with this.
With someone that we've had on the show and had a great time with him, Gary Mills, of course. We had that connection.
We haven't got another hour to go through my thoughts on Gary Mills. And yeah, but I'll tell you what, he promised so much and delivered in the end so little. But he did much better with you guys than he did with us. So
he's still got it. He's still got up here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just very old school, and it just didn't work with the players we had. It just didn't work. The play, and that happens, doesn't it? Some managers fit, some managers don't. And Danny Wright, loved him for us. What a player, massively hold up. I don't know, did it work out for him with you, or did
he was, but he goes to the travel was getting too much for him.
Yeah, that's the thing. That must be the struggle for you. And we always find it trying to get players out of these London clubs. They'd rather go Barnet or, at the time, Ebbsfleet or wherever we were losing players to, because they didn't want to end up moving to Wales. I think, God, for Gateshead must be even more of a nightmare to get players out of Bromley.
I'm sure they'd love to go to Wales now with the crack you're offering them.
At the moment, the Gateshead squad is probably 80 to 85% local lads, which is, it's just special in its own way, especially to be playing at this level with.
That means more. That means more. I wish we could do that. I wish we had 11 lads from North Wales, because that would be unbelievable. But you know how it goes. It's not always the way.
Yeah, it's just one of them things. But I'd say we flew through. He's been a fantastic guest.
Sorry, there you go. I ramble on. Someone's
no.
Taylor bring on the meltdown. There you go. Good job.
Yeah, and Danny Wright, his goal against Washington in the Warrington in the FA Cup was magic. Yeah, I remember that one.
I'll tell you a quick story about Danny Wright. He got them all kicked out the hotel at Bristol, didn't he?
Yeah, the Christmas night out. Didn't he?
Night out.
He tackled
Went in, slide tackled a Christmas tree. Sent it all over the place.
There was players in bed that had to be getting out to be thrown out the hotel.
Oh, really? The whole squad out?
Yeah.
Character. I'll say that.
I bet that's what they thought of him at the time. Character.
Character.
But as I say, it's been an absolute joy to have you on, Nathan.
Thanks very much. Really appreciate the invite, lads.
Yeah, and say, when is where and when is the show available to watch over here in the UK? The documentary.
It is out. It's already out. So episodes 1 and 2 are out. Episodes 3 and 4, they're dropping every Thursday in the UK on, if you've got it, Disney Plus.
Right.
So for anyone who has that, that's where it is. But I'm sure you'll see various clips and bits and bobs. But if anyone has Disney Plus, that's where it is, and you can. Is
it still going this season, or they're still recording this season?
Yeah, they're doing this season. So yes, we've got last season is obviously season 1, and I don't know, maybe you'll have me on in 10 years and we're still doing a Vanarama National League documentary on Disney Plus. When we've gone nowhere.
Well, who knows? I'll say it now. If they want to use any clip from this show, they can.
Yeah. Hey, look, there you go. Maybe.
I will with royalties.
Yeah. Royalties.
You're holding on to ransom over the big check.
The other end, when I'm doing the commentary, and they're like, "We're not putting him on after what he said."
Yeah. 4 cans of kebab you'd buy us.
Well, look, genuinely, I say this, and people might not think it's sincere, but all the best tomorrow. I'm hoping for a good game. Yeah, I'm hoping for at the end. Okay, it was tricky, but Woking was a belting game. 5 goals.
Yeah,
they looked brilliant. I thought, even with 10 men, they lost their best player to the red card. And bar that Maidstone game, which was such a one-sided affair, everything else has been a really, really good game. And I'm fascinated. Given you how you spoke, I'm really fascinated to see how the midfield battle pans out tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think physical presence could undo us. Like, Caesar got a lot of big lads.
Possibly,
we have.
We'll
see.
But as we said to every guest, good luck for the season, just not tomorrow.
Yeah, well, same to you, lads. Everyone had you down as relegation candidates, and use that as fuel when you come top half or wherever it is, because people were writing you up before you'd even kicked the ball. So yeah, honestly, all the best, lads.
Definitely. Okay.
Honestly, if we throw one each tomorrow, it'll be party time, and yeah.
Be a naked podcast on Thursday. So people hope we don't win now. If we can have you on the reverse fixture, it'd be amazing to talk to you again, see how the story's developing for yourselves down there, and it'd be fantastic. So Nathan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Guys. Take care.
Very much, mate. Take care. Watch what you're doing.
Good, Nathan. Fantastic to have him on. Lovely lad. So hopefully it's going to be a good game tomorrow, and if it does get streamed, there is a thing called a VPN. I don't know what it does, but you might get to watch it. You never know. But
live from Canada.
live from Canada. But I think fantastic guest and good viewing figures tonight. Thank you everyone that's joined us. Thank you everyone that's messaged in. We've still got messages if you want to send them in. We've got one here. I went to see Panny and Womble at Shields today. They look decent in patches. I think Shields won that 1-0, didn't they? So
we were playing more with it,
yeah. So it's saying as I say, it's just been a lovely. Actually, I'll go back to this message because I missed it earlier on from Sam Pellington. Evening, lads. Good to lose on Saturday. I don't think the red card. It was a red card personally, as there was a covering defender. I think there's a strong yellow is more appropriate. I think they tighten up in defence. As for me, the 2 goals against Barnet and on Saturday could have been avoided. The team's punishing more at this league. Hopefully, you can learn and this bounce back and get our first win. We are creating some good chances, just aren't converting them, and stay positive. Definitely, it's just that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Sam. But
it's just the way it goes.
The city mistakes it.
Yeah, they'll haunt you at this level. As I say, we knew that, but the lads are still doing really well and keeping it going. And thank you to all of you as well. Like and subscribe. We will be doing. think, I don't know. It depends on what the result is tomorrow. If there's enough to talk about, let's hope there isn't too many talking points. But we'll do a podcast on Thursday and try and get it's Maidstone, isn't it? Get a Maidstone fan on, and we'll talk to them on Thursday, and then Saturday, of course, we have the commentary of that game if you're abroad, ill or working, and we'll have that going. And we've got one last question: is Aaron Martin back tomorrow? Well, he was getting put through quite an intense warm up before the game with Chris Bell, so hopefully that was a fitness test to see how he's doing, and they'll probably be monitoring, and hopefully he's in contention. Hopefully with Dan Jarvis.
Sorry, go on.
I say hopefully with Dan Jarvis as well.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the three lads up front, I'm not having to go at either of them. Whoever come out, I think if Aaron's not fit, put Will in. At least he's got height. He might be able to hold the ball up forward.
Yeah. He had a couple of header chances in the dying moments of the first of the game on Saturday against Wealdstone. So yeah, hopefully.
So, to me, I mean, honestly, I watched the Wrexham against Woking on Saturday, and they have some giants in that team. Ben Toes, Hayden, Palmer, Mullen, and honestly, I'll be glad we're gonna need.
Well, certainly,
it's gonna be some hell of a shift for their lads. If they can come away from the race course with a point, I'll be delighted.
It would be absolutely amazing. Well, on that note, Mickey, as I say, we filled in our really quickly. Nathan was a fantastic guest. Once again, thank you very much to Nathan for coming on. Give him a follow on social media. And say we'll be back on Thursday. Enjoy the game tomorrow. If you're listening, if you're traveling down, make yourself loud and proud. I'm sure you will.
There's a fair few going down by all accounts.
Hopefully we can bring something back, and that would be amazing. So everyone stay safe, and we'll be back on Thursday night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, positive.